Damn, I broke it. Gosh, what did I do? Look at that. That was one of my favorite blue glass bottles. And I dropped it and now it's broken. Yeah. You know, there's things that break. There's people that make beauty out of them, that make art out of them. In Japan, there's a way of dealing with it. They break intentionally a vase, put the fragments together, and fill the cracks with gold or golden substance. And in the end, it's more beautiful than before. I had a friend who was in a workshop and did something like that. And he said it was very painful first to pick up a vase or something that really he liked, and then to drop it intentionally. But he says in the course of putting it together again, putting the pieces together again, something new happened, something new came into existence, and actually something in him healed what seemed to be broken before. And it also reminds me of Leonard Cohen when he sings "The cracks where the light comes in." There's a crack in everything, that's where the light comes in. And I think this is very close to what the native people in the Plains tribe, their most sacred ceremony is the sun dance. And in the sun dance, the dancers get pierced, and then through the piercings are tied to the tree, and that's how they dance. And they use the pain and the suffering, what they go through, and the woundedness in order as energy to pray for what they want. And they pray, "Hey Creator, this is where I'm wounded, this is where I'm open for you, please come and fill me and bless me with insight and wisdom." You probably have seen, at least, I'm probably the only one, but in my close relationship with my wife, sometimes things are a little bit tough. And we've been together now for many years. And for me, every time it's still a miracle, We go through something, we fight, there's anger, there's pain, there's hurting. And we got to go through this painful restoration process. But every time, once we went through it, after we're through it, it's more beautiful than before. We feel more closely connected, there's more love, there's more intimacy, there's more beauty in our relationship. It's something really beautiful. So not always when something painful is there that it's terrible. Yes, there is something terrible about it, but it also holds an opportunity when we use it not just to push somebody away, not just to push anger and say, "I don't want you anymore," and go away, but when you say, "Hey, I'm hurting, and I want you to know that." And so when we in that place of hurting, where we sometimes also don't know what to do, when we in that place pray, say, "Hey, Creator, help me. Here I don't know what to do." And something beautiful can appear, something that we did not think of. Lately I had a very, very painful experience. I was out fishing here on the coast with my boat, and then there was a group of porpoises, Stolp's porpoises, playing around me. And they were so beautiful. These black and white little whales, they are amazing and very playful, similar to dolphins that they are related to. And they are so fast, and they were shooting through the water around my boat and coming up and diving, and just had a lot of fun. And all of a sudden my gear was going like crazy, my fishing gear, and I knew, oh God, now one of them got hurt. And in seconds there were 800 feet of line out, yeah, and it was absolutely crazy. And I was devastated, and the porpoises were gone, and the line broke, and I don't know what happened. Had one just a scratch of on the skin, yeah, and the hook came out, or did one have the hook in my gear somehow in the mouth, and did it die from it? I don't know, but it was absolutely terrible for me. And it was so painful, and I cried about it, and I knew, wow, I have to go through a process of restoration. Like when I hurt somebody, I apologize. Now I hurt here a porpoise, so I knew, okay, I have to contact them and apologize at the very least, yeah. So in the evening I prepared, and I meditated, I prayed about it, and I went into this inner space and called the porpoises and said, hey porpoises, you blessed me with your presence, you blessed me with your joy, and I hurt you deeply. I hurt one of you at least deeply, and I apologize for that. I'm very sorry. And it took a while, and I calmed down a little bit. It was not over right away, and I repeated that also in the following days. I contacted them over and over again, and when I could feel, okay, now I can feel them close, yeah, then I talked to them. And slowly the pain settled, but you know what stayed? Was an amazing closeness to these animals that I had never had before. Before, the porpoises were something out there, or the Stahl's porpoises especially, something out there that I saw once in a while, and it was wonderful to see them, but there was a distance. There was no closeness really. And now there's an intimacy, there's a closeness, there's I almost can say a love relationship that I have with them. And that is something that I don't know how it could have happened. Well, I should not say that, but at least it happened also through the pain, the break in a relationship, and the restoration. So I would like to encourage you, when something broke in a connection between you and somebody else, when an old wound is being touched, to find a way to open yourself up to that pain, and in that pain allow the Creator to bless you, to come in. And I promise you, there's a potential in it that you cannot see in the beginning. And there's a potential that something will change and something will be better than ever before. When we have a break, a conflict with somebody, maybe we find a way, maybe you can find a way. And I sometimes struggle with that, because when I'm triggered and I'm upset, I'm not very creative and I'm not very intuitive. So, but when I settle down, when I light a candle, or my wife comes with a candle and says, hey, I think we need to settle down a little bit, and then we pray, and then things come and things happen, and it's quite beautiful. I encourage you, I wish you the courage to open yourself up, not to run away from pain, and not only to avoid pain, but to open yourself up when there is pain, and to use it as an opportunity for an increase in connection, a deeper intimacy, and a greater flow of love between you and others. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time. Bye.